All right, 300 milligrams and I'm fucking ready. Now, I have to do this video quick, but feminism is basically Ishtar worship. Now, I'm so excited because now I'm just now getting into my more kind of like esoteric occult topics because I haven't really talked about them much. I have like another video that's kind of within the same realm but hasn't been posted yet because I'm making you niggas wait. Probably gonna post a video today, but feminism is Ishtar worship. Now, what is Ishtar? If you look in the Old Testament of the Bible, or there's a bunch of like fucking ketchup. There's a bunch of fucking mythologies and all these other pagan ways, and even in other religions of how they reenact this thing. But basically, it was this bitch, right? And it was a nigga that was a king, and basically, they were the king and queen of the world, or the Babylon and shit. And basically, to get to the point, when the king died, some people say it was because he got like killed and some shit. The wife, who is called like Ceramis, but there's different names, right? But it could be like Ishtar, it could be fucking Inanna, it could be a whole bunch of like pagan bullshit, right? But basically, when this bitch, when the nigga died, the bitch, right? She got pregnant. Now, she was probably fucking another nigga, but she got pregnant, and she said that her son was the reincarnation of her husband, right? So this could be Tammuz, this could be like a whole bunch of other shit, right? So that's the main summary of this video. And you're like, okay, how does this tie into feminism? Well, if you research any occult books, or you go really, really deep, or if you're into like Christian esoteric Christianity, or if you go really into the deeps of the occult, you're gonna find that a lot of occultists actually worship a woman. They actually worship a female deity, right? If you look at a lot of like a lot of like Freemasons, and a lot of other cult groups like the Knights of Templar, there's a whole bunch of them, Rosicrucians, these kind of like the more well known, but basically a lot of them also believe in kind of like Gnosticism. And if you don't know what Gnosticism is, I can drop a video on that. But basically, how in the Garden of Eden they say that, Adam and Eve, they bit the apple, and that Lucifer was transformed into a snake and shit like that, and deceived them. And that was like the big bad thing that we as humans did. The thing is that in Gnosticism, they believe that the serpent was actually a good person, and Lucifer is a good guy, right? And so by giving humans knowledge, he was setting us free in knowledge, right? And you look into many of occult societies, or in deep in books, the whole thing of ascending, of whether it's for fucking higher consciousness, or it's for enlightenment, or all that, it's all about receiving more knowledge, right? Receiving more gnosis, right? And I can go very deep in how they do this with sex magic. They do this with a bunch of basic demonic acts, or actually talking to demonic beings. Now, I don't want to get too deep, because I want to kind of I want to put this stuff really, really like, I want my videos to be very well informed, good researched, and all this other shit, so you can have a good basis of how the world is basically fucked, and basically how we're all waiting for this world to die so that Jesus can come back, right? Now, to get back to the point, feminism, right? It's all about worshiping women, really. And it's all about putting women on a pedestal. And they say this whole shit like, oh, women have been oppressed and all that. And the thing is that if you look into history, there have been points where women are really oppressed. Like if you look at Islam, yeah, they treat their bitches horribly. They cut off fingers and shit like that. If you look into other parts of the world, right? Yeah, women have been very badly abused. But if you look at, like, let's say the Bible or certain other parts of the world, it wasn't that bad. It was just the woman playing her role. Women are not inferior to men. Men are not superior over women, but women in terms of real life, like activities and stuff like that, they are inferior. Like emotionally, I mean, this has been like drilled into your guys' heads through like the red pill and shit like that. But yeah, in a lot of aspects, women are losers, right? And that's not to degrade them, but in terms of like material success or planning or all this other abilities, yeah, men are better, right? But there are things, even though it's very small and very like not that maybe as important, right? But obviously, even in the Bible, it says that the woman was supposed to be the helper of a man, right? So you're expecting a woman to be fucking John Cena when she was made to just be a helper. You get what I mean? So it's like, how can you shit on women when that's how they're designed to be, right? But this whole thing of women have being oppressed and there's all this other stuff, it does have some some truth to it, but essentially you're trying to put women in a role, in a man's role, number one, or even above that, in a god role, right? You're trying to make a woman your own god, and this is what the society has been trying to do. Now there can go we can go even fucking deeper into this, into how this fits into trans people and all that, but we're just gonna start this video is kind of like a part. It's gonna be two parts, but we're just gonna start with the feminism, right? But the woman, right, when she's being worshipped by everybody and all this, right, it's like worshiping a deity, right? And in a lot of occult groups, they say Sophia or Lucifer as, or Satan. They put Satan as a female name. They put Satan as a female deity. Why? Now, this is because a lot of occult groups and a lot of like Freemasons, they believe in this thing of duality of yin and yang, white and black, good and evil, right? They believe in this thing of duality, and they believe that for every necessary good, there has to be necessary evil, right? Which is obviously false, right? Who would want to live in a good place? I'm guessing everybody, right? And that's our reward in heaven. But these people, they don't think like that. They'd rather have a world of 50% good and 50% bad, right? That's their thinking. And so how does this apply to Satan and Lucifer, or whatever you want to call it? Now, for most part, they call Lucifer, they put Lucifer as more of like the sun deity, or the good aspect of Satan, or if you want to call it. And then they call Satan kind of like the bad aspect, the female aspect of Satan, right? Just like how it goes back into the duality thinking of even God. How can God be most righteous, right, but also most merciful, right? Because he's the one that can send people to hell, but he's also the person that can save, right? So they try to push this duality thinking onto every aspect of life. And this is because it all falls down to one of the core beliefs, as beloved, so below, right? Which is, if you look at the main picture of Satan, especially it's a really demonic one where there's like two kids, and yeah, those two kids, they serve a purpose, and the real demonic. If you wanna ascend demonically, if you really want to get to the top of this world, you're gonna have to mess with kids, which is very sad. But probably these people knew what they're doing when they were making that statue, right? But if you look at one of the most famous pictures of Satan, or the Baphomet, it's him doing a pose. And I'm not gonna do it because nigga, fuck that, right? But it's him doing a pose where he's put 2 fingers up and 2 fingers down, and that's to do as beloved, so below. It also it's also the seal of Solomon, of basically like your third eye, and of Kundalini, and there's all this other basic sex magic stuff. But to get back to the point, feminism, right? If you look at Revelation, we all hear about this whore of Babylon, right? And a lot of people have their own interpretations of what this could mean. A lot of people think the whore of Babylon is the Catholic Church, which could be true. The Bible's one of those books where like it can be it can have so many truths stacked on top of it, right? Now don't go too deep into this, because a lot of people in the occult, they'll cherry pick verses of the Bible and say that's the axis, your mind, your Christ consciousness, like, but the Bible is one of those books that, whether no time, like, it could be in any time of history, it's always going to be truth. How can that happen? Because it's the word. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God, right? Because this book is the actual real book. Like, there's no other book, there's no Allah, there's only Jesus Christ and God, right? So of course. But to get back to the point, a lot of people also think this Whore of Babylon is a representation. I finally got it out, and I know I edited that. It was the representation of Sophia, or of Lucifer, in the aspect of a female deity, right? Because again, even like towards all the history, there's always some time of female worship, and always of a male worship, right? Because in the beginning, a lot of people, when they went astray from God, the only thing they can really focus on was the sun and the moon. And if you want to get even deeper into this, which I haven't done that much research on, but it is a theory out there, or a theory until I can prove it fact. But there are people saying that when the fallen angels came down, they also taught mankind all pagan. Well, that is true in the book of Enoch, but they taught sun worship, and they taught all this other thing to other people. Like a fallen angel was literally like, hey, worship me like this, right? So it wasn't really, there's like two interpretations. Some people think it was just because humans, we just saw the sun, and because we were kind of more like primal in a sense, not in the theory of evolution, but more kind of just primal, like, oh, a sun, so that must be a god, I'm kind of more in the ladder of the fallen angels, because the fallen angels did teach mankind a bunch of stuff, but I'm just trying to figure out the history and the timeline. So I'll get back to you guys on that one. But basically, now that you know this, right, this is why they push feminism down, right? And this is why the woman is being worshipped and worshipped and worshipped, right? And obviously we have real world repercussions from this, right? You ever get as an attractive guy, do you ever, like, for all my like attractive guys out there, do you ever get like a fat bitch staring at you, and it's like you can tell what she's thinking. She's like, why isn't he staring at me? I was like, bitch, what? And that's really because, obviously, right, if you looked at any dating video, or if you just stepped outside, obviously every bitch wants a fucking Brad Pitt, but a bitch looks like SpongeBob. You get what I mean? So obviously this has that repercussion. It also has the thing of vanity, and there's all this other stuff. And on my channel, I speak a lot about big booty Latinas, and I do it just to be funny, and just to get you guys more entertainment and stuff like that. But really, ideally, what you want to do is defeat lust, so that you don't have that lust when you enter a marriage, into a God-given marriage. And the thing is that when you build a society of appeasing women, the only thing that the woman has to offer most of the time is her looks, right? Now, why is that? Am I saying everything about a woman is just her looks? No, but let's not deny that looks have power. And the one thing that I always say in this channel is that not that you need to have power, but you need to understand that power is the thing that controls everything in life. And the thing is that a lot of women, because now they know that, they don't need to fucking fuck the ogre to get the hut anymore and to get the resources. Now they know all they really have is looks. And when you have a society that tells them that it's only your looks, it's only your vanity, it's only your sin that brings attention, and it's only your sin that can get you a good life, well, of course, that's all women are just going to lean on their looks, right? If you think society was built on morals, and if we had fucking Christian music playing on our radios, do you think the world would be this vain? But no. And it did say in the Bible that in older times people were going to become lovers of themselves, right? So when we have a social media and we have a mainstream narrative of just pushing women to be overly sexualized, well, of course, women are just going to lean on that. And this all comes from what? Not following God and not having God, right? So my channel here is for you guys to repent. It is to get you guys closer to the Lord and to be ready until the rapture and to be ready until salvation, right? And obviously I'm a nigga, so it's like I'm gonna appeal more to guys, but this is also for women as well. And again, when we over sexualize woman, right, and when that's all we see women as they can offer, they're gonna lean on that, right? And the thing is that yeah, there is a hard truth about the world, right? There's a woman out there, let's go back to the example of the fat bitch. There could be a fat bitch that could treat you like a king, like honestly, like she's a little simp, but you'll never get to see that side of her, and you'll never give her the chance to date. Why? Because she's fat, and obviously, as Christians, we try to live as much as Christ, right? Because the thing is, the closer you get to Christ, the closer your carnal mind is gonna go away, right? Am I gonna say that eventually there's gonna be people that are gonna be like, I see the beauty in her when she has like a double chin? I don't know, because like in our fundamentals, we are flawed, right? But so that was just a little rant of why women have been put on like on a pedestal. But this, you have to understand that feminism is a form of worship for them, because they worship female gods. And so when you push this society to worship a female, right, it is kind of like a middle finger to God, right? Because first off, the only thing you should worship is God, right? So when you have this society that's so obsessed with women and so obsessed with female, to have female standards or to live up to a female standard, it is way more deeper than, oh, they just want to appease the women. It is because their God is a woman. Now, is Satan actually a woman? No. But Satan, not only does he appear as an angel of light, but he also appears into many of the deep occult societies as a woman, right? Satan, there's a reason why do, when you look at Satan, right, in one of his most famous pictures by Eliphas Levi, right, why does Satan, who's depicted or who is known as a male, why does he have breasts? Do you ever stop and think that? Now, this is gonna go into my transgender video, right, on the second video that I'm gonna post about this. So I'm probably, I don't know, I'll post it whenever. But one of the also aspects of this is because in the deep occult, they worship Satan as a woman sometimes. Again, because it all goes back to duality of good and bad, light and evil, black and white, right? It goes back into their philosophies and how they see the world, right? So yes, feminism isn't just something for women. It isn't just because they feel bad for women. It is because you are worshiping Satan when you do it. Now, are you doing are you actually doing it when when you're a simp? No. But you are putting an idol before God, and you are putting her over a pedestal, which is like, you shouldn't be doing that anyways. But yeah, this has just been a quick video. I should have probably wrote down some notes with been more like better structured. But I'm also off the top ass nigga, so it's like, I don't know. But yeah, guys, I have to be somewhere very soon, so I don't know how much I can talk anymore. But yeah, feminism is Ishtar worship, right? And that has been the video. This has been Los. Click the subscribe channel, repent, and I'll see you in the next one.